भी कनेक्ट करने की कोशिश करता है कि वो भारत की मेन स्ट्रीम पॉलिटिक्स से जुड़ सके, भारत की मेन स्ट्रीम पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में जान सके, लॉज कैसे बनते हैं, हमारा संसद कैसे चलता है, स्पीकर का रोल क्या है, प्राइम मिनिस्टर का रोल क्या है, डिफेंस मिनिस्टर, मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, सबका रोल क्या है, आपको विद्यालय के कैलेंडर में ही पता चल सकेगा। बच्चों, you are fortunate enough we don't have to give the online videos on the online structure of youth parliament, but also we have to exhibit our talent in the Kolkata region among the 7 schools. Our school Kendriya Vidyalaya is also selected for the regional youth parliament competition. एक बार इन बच्चों को जोरदार तालियां जो आपको एग्जीबिशन का नजारा दिखाएंगे। अब मैं सर से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि सर हमारे बच्चों को कॉम्पिटिशन या एग्जीबिशन शुरू करने का सर परमिशन दें सर, प्लीज। थैंक यू सर। Let me start. Let me begin. बच्चों, अब प्लीज आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि आवाज ना करें, तालियां ना बजाएं अभी फिलहाल, क्योंकि आपकी तालियों की आवाज में, आपकी आवाज में, आपके शोर में इन बच्चों का आवाज दब जाएगा और आप एक बहुत ही अच्छा नजारा देखने से वंचित हो जाएंगे। So we are going to start now. Let's enjoy 1 hour episode of Youth Parliament.
तुम रिकॉर्डिंग करोगे? बराबर चल लो, आराम से बराबर चल लो। स्टार्ट करते हैं? स्टार्ट है।
माननीय सांसदों, माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय,
I welcome you all to the National Youth Parliament 2024. We will start with the first item in the list of business, which is oath or affirmation. Members to take oath or affirmation. Secretary General, please.
Srimati Surnur Nasim, who stands elected from the Arambagh constituency of West Bengal, will now take the oath or affirmation. Srimati Surnur Nasim, who stands elected from the Arambagh constituency of West Bengal, will now take the oath or affirmation. Srimati Surnur Nasim, please. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation? In which language would you like to take the oath?
In English, please.
Madam Speaker, I would also like to take your permission to interpret the oath in sign language. The interpretation in sign language will be done by Ms. Lily Kumari.
Yes, you may proceed.
I, Shumnur Nausheen, having been elected as a member of the lower house of the Youth Parliament, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Srimati Harshita Kumari, who is selected from the Darbhanga constituency of Bihar, will now take the oath or affirmation. Srimati Harshita Kumari, please. Madam, do you want to take oath or affirmation? In which language would you like to take the oath?
In Majli, please. हम हर्षिता कुमारी युवा संसद के निचला सदन के सदस्य निर्वाचित भेला उपरांत ईश्वर के शपथ लेत छी जे हम विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारतक संविधानक प्रति सत्यनिष्ठा और श्रद्धा राखब, जे हम भारत के संप्रभुता और अखंडता अक्षुण्य राखब और जाहि पद पर हम बैसे रहल छी तकर कर्तव्य विश्वासपूर्वक निर्वहन करब।
We are confident that your contribution would be very fruitful to both the House and the country. Honorable members, as we meet today, it's my sad duty to inform the House of demise of ex-Rajya Sabha member Shri Sujit Singh. He was elected as a Rajya Sabha member in 2020. Shri Sujit Singh was known for his unwavering dedication to public service and his deep commitment to the welfare of the country. Throughout his political career, he championed numerous development initiatives that significantly impacted the lives of the people. He passed away on 13th May 2024 at the age of 72.
I rise to pay my tribute to ex-Rajya Sabha member Shri Sujit Singh, whose death has left a profound void in our political landscape. He used to be always concerned about the nation and its welfare, with a special focus on Bihar. With his demise, the nation has lost an awakened social worker and a skilled political leader. I extend my heartfelt condolences to his family.
Madam, I associate myself with the tributes paid by you and the leader of the House. Sri Sujit Singh was known for his statesmanship and commitment to public service. On behalf of the opposition, I convey our deepest sympathies to his brave family.
The House may stand in silence for a while to express our deep sorrow. Secretary General may convey the message of condolence to the bereaved family.
Yes, madam.
Prime Minister Sadia Imam, Youth New Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. I have pleasure in introducing to you and through you to the House, my colleagues, the new ministers. Srimati Deepika Shah, Minister of Jal Shakti. Srimati Zoya Ashwati, Minister of Commerce and Industry.
Now the question will start. Question number 101, Srimati Shruti Shah.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Madam, before I start, I want to share a quote of Mr. P.K. Kashmuri. He's a founder and former CEO of media and entertainment company, Magical. The quote is like, privacy is dead and social media holds a smoking gun. I repeat, privacy is dead and social media holds a smoking gun. Madam, nowadays, digital privacy and security is a concern for not only about a country, but throughout the whole world. So I would like to ask Honorable IT Minister, could you please inform this House about the current measures have been taken by the government to ensure digital privacy and security?
Minister of IT, please.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. I appreciate the question from the esteemed member. The government is keenly aware of the importance of digital privacy and security in today's interconnected world. We have implemented robust policies and regulations to safeguard personal data, including stringent guidelines for data protection compliance across all sectors. Additionally, initiatives like DPDP Act 2023. In early August 2023, the Indian Parliament passed the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. It is the first cross-sectoral law on personal data protection in India and has been enacted after more than half a decade of deliberations. These have been instrumental in enhancing cybersecurity frameworks and to mitigate potential threats.
Supplementary question, Speaker Madam.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. My question is to the Honorable Minister. With rise in online education and digital platform, concern about digital privacy and security have increased. How is the government ensuring that student data and privacy are protected as they use their digital platform for learning?
Thank you for your question. The safety and privacy of students are of utmost importance, and the government has implemented several measures to protect students' personal data and to ensure a secure learning environment. First, we have mandated that all educational platforms adhere to strict data protection protocols, including encryption and secure data storage. The National Educational Technology Forum has been established to set guidelines and standards for safe use of technology in education. The Cyber Swachhata Kendra is in place to promote cyber hygiene and educate students about safe online practices. Schools and institutions are being encouraged to provide digital literacy training to students and staff.
Next question, question number 102, Srimati Shalini Anand.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam, I would like to ask the Education Minister regarding the implementation of NEP 2020. What progress has been made so far, and what are the key milestones that have been achieved in the past few years? Plus, what is the role of PMC scheme for NEP 2020?
Minister of Education, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. A pertinent question by the Honorable Member. Since the introduction of NEP 2020, significant strides have been made. First, the revision of school curriculum and textbooks to align with the policy's vision. Second, the establishment of new digital platforms and resources for online blended learning, such as the Diksha app, which has now over 1,37,000 pieces of e-content and has been used widely across states. Third, the initiation of teacher training program focusing on the new educational approaches. The launch of schemes to improve access to education in undeserved regions. The effect of e-Vidya initiative, which not only provide content via TV but also through radio
Additionally,
Members maintain silence.
500 schools will be upgraded across India under PM Shri scheme, including
Members
Kendriya
maintain
Vidyalaya
silence.
and Navodaya Vidyalaya. Additionally, higher education institutions are also adopting multidisciplinary approaches and aligning their programs with the NEP guidelines.
Any supplementary questions? Yes, Srimati Arpita.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Given the infrastructure challenges in many rural areas, my question is that how does the government plan to implement NEP 2020 in regions where schools lack basic facilities and digital connectivity?
A very important concern in implementing NEP 2020 in rural areas with inadequate infrastructure is a priority. To tackle these challenges, government is taking various measures such as investing in the development of physical infrastructure like building new schools and upgrading the existing ones, and also enhancing the digital infrastructure by expanding the broadband connectivity such as the PM-eVidya program, under which the TV channels and digital platforms are being operated and has been extended to support this digital push, and further introducing community and service-based education centers to facilitate education where schools are part. Even partnering with non-governmental organizations and private sectors to leverage resources and expertise, ensuring that rural educators receive specialized training and support to adapt to the new educational framework. These states aim to bridge the gap and provide equal learning opportunities for all the students so that no child is left behind due to lack of infrastructure.
सप्लीमेंट्री क्वेश्चन माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय।
Please go ahead.
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय। मेरा सवाल शिक्षा मंत्री से ये है कि इस नीति के तहत पिछड़े वर्गों, महिलाओं और दिव्यांग व्यक्तियों के लिए ऐसे कौन से प्रावधान किए गए हैं जिससे उनका भी विकास हो?
नई शिक्षा नीति 2020 के तहत पिछड़े वर्गों, महिलाओं और दिव्यांग व्यक्तियों के लिए ऐसे कई विशेष प्रावधान किए गए हैं। आपकी जानकारी के लिए बता दें कि पिछड़े वर्गों के लिए जैसे समावेशी शिक्षा, उनके लिए समावेशी शिक्षा प्रणाली को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। इसके साथ ही पिछड़े वर्गों के छात्रों के लिए छात्रवृत्ति और वित्तीय सहायता प्रदान की जाएगी। इसके साथ ही समर्थन कार्यक्रम में विशेष कोचिंग और परामर्श कार्यक्रम स्थापित किए जा रहे हैं। महिलाओं के लिए जैसे
Members maintain silence.
महिला शिक्षा को बढ़ावा देने के लिए कई विशेष प्रावधान किए गए हैं। छात्रवृत्तियों और अन्य सहायता उपकरण के माध्यम से महिला शिक्षा को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। उनकी सुरक्षा और सुविधा के लिए कई विशेष प्रावधान किए गए हैं एवं साथ ही उस शिक्षा संस्थानों में कई विशेष कार्यक्रम चलाए जा रहे हैं। और एवं दिव्यांग व्यक्तियों के लिए जैसे समावेशी शिक्षा, उनके लिए भी समावेशी प्रणाली को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है। दिव्यांग छात्रों के लिए छात्रवृत्ति और वित्तीय सहायता प्रदान की जा रही है। शिक्षक प्रशिक्षण में शिक्षकों के साथ काम करने के लिए कई विशेष प्रशिक्षण प्रदान की जा रही है।
Next question, question number 103, Srimati Radhika Rai.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Will the Minister of Home Affairs be pleased to state whether the government has finalized the timeline for conducting the decadal census? And if so, the details thereof, and if not, the reason thereof. Whether the government proposes to implement any kind of new technology for improving speed, reach, and accuracy for the census. And if so, the details thereof, and if not, the reason thereof.
Minister of Home Affairs, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. An excellent question by the opposition member. I
was modified in the Gazette of India on 28 March 2019. The government decided to conduct Census 2021 under the Census Act 1948 in two phases. Firstly, house listing and housing census between April to September 2020 and population enumeration during 9th to 28th February 2021. However, due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the related field activities were postponed.
Next question number 104, Mohammad Ibrahim.
धन्यवाद स्पीकर महोदय। मैडम, मैं अपनी बात बोलने से पहले आपके सामने ये 2-3 पंक्तियां बोलना चाहता हूँ कि झील में पानी बरसता है हमारे देश में, कि झील में पानी बरसता है हमारे देश में, खेत पानी बरसता है हमारे देश में, जिंदगी का हार फंसता है हमारे देश में, दूध महंगा और खून सस्ता है हमारे देश में। माननीय महोदय जी, मैं आपका और मंत्री जी का ध्यान रेल विकास की आड़ में की लापरवाही की ओर दिलाना चाहता हूँ। मैडम, मुझे इस बात का बहुत दुख है कि हमारे देश में रहने वाले लोगों की जानों को अमूल्य माना जाता है। मैडम, भारत अभी अभी कोरोमंडल एक्सप्रेस वाली दुर्घटना और कंचनजंगा वाली दुर्घटना से को संभाल ही रहा था कि ऐसे में डिब्रूगढ़ एक्सप्रेस दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हो गई। मैडम, इन सारी दुर्घटनाओं का बार लगातार होना इस बात का सबूत है कि रेलवे मंत्रालय अपना कार्य से नहीं कर रहा, लेकिन फिर भी ये सरकार मौन है। मैडम, मैं मंत्री जी से ये सवाल करता हूँ कि आखिर ये रेल दुर्घटनाएं रुकने का नाम क्यों नहीं दे रहे, और क्या इन्होंने इसे रोकने की सोचा भी है, या फिर हमेशा की तरह ये सरकार सिर्फ और सिर्फ योजनाएं बनाने में ही व्यस्त है।
मिनिस्टर ऑफ रेलवे प्लीज।
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय। मैं अपने विपक्ष मित्र को ये बताना चाहती हूँ कि हो रही रेल दुर्घटनाओं से सिर्फ आपको ही नहीं, हम सभी को खेद है, परंतु माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, यह जो रेल दुर्घटनाएं हो रही है, ये सिग्नल सर्किट परिवर्तन के योग के कारण हुई है। रेल की सुरक्षा बढ़ाने और भविष्य में होने वाली दुर्घटनाओं को रोकने के लिए हमारी सरकार ने अनेक उपाय लागू किए हैं। पहला, हम ट्रैक निरीक्षण और रखरखाव प्रोटोकॉल को तेज कर रहे हैं, जिसमें संभावित ट्रैक मुद्दों की पहचान और उन्हें सुधारने के लिए अल्ट्रासोनिक तकनीक का उपयोग करना शामिल है। दूसरा, दुर्घटनाओं के कारण मानवीय त्रुटि की संभावनाओं को कम करने के लिए उन्नत सिग्नल सिस्टम तथा स्वचालित ट्रेन सुरक्षा की प्रौद्योगिकियों की स्थापना में भी तेजी ला रहे हैं। एंड थर्डली, एक्सपेंशन ऑफ यूज ऑफ indigenous train collision avoidance system, which is also known as the cover system. The armor is designed to automatically stop the train when they encounter a potential collision situation, preventing accidents caused by the human error or signal failure. By 2023, more than 2,000 kilometers of the railway tracks will have been equipped with the armor, and we plan to expand this coverage to more routes.
प्लीज गो अहेड।
धन्यवाद स्पीकर महोदया जी। मैं सरकार से ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि रेलवे का निजीकरण और आधुनिकीकरण तो वो कर ही रहे हैं, परंतु हमारा देश अभी भी एक प्रमुख समस्या से जूझ रहा है, वो है ट्रेनों का देर से चलना। विगत कुछ दिनों से पूर्वा एक्सप्रेस अपने समय से 2 घंटे देर और संपर्क क्रांति 6 घंटे देर, जिसका प्रभाव जनता की रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी पर पड़ता है। तो मैं माननीय रेल मंत्री जी से यह जानना चाहती हूँ कि उन्होंने इस विषय पर कुछ सोचा भी है। मैं अपने विपक्ष दल की जानकारी के लिए बता दूं कि हमारी सरकार सिर्फ बैठती नहीं है, वे इन सारे विषयों और मुद्दों के बारे में बहुत ही बेहतरीन तरीके से सोच रही है। हमारी सरकार ने कई राज्यों में नए रेलवे स्टेशन बनाने की योजना भी की है, जिससे हमारे देश के नागरिकों को कहीं दूर जाकर ट्रेन लेने की आवश्यकता ना पड़े। रेलवे विभाग ने यह भी आदेश दिया है कि जो कर्मचारियों को अपने कार्य को सही ढंग से करने के भी आदेश दी जा रही है। साथ ही रेलवे विभाग को दोनों तरफ से घेराव किया जा रहा है ताकि जो रेल ट्रैक पर हो रहे दुर्घटनाओं को रोका जा सके। सरकार ने ये निर्णय लिया है कि वृद्धि के कर्मचारियों में वृद्धि लाई जाएगी ताकि ट्रैक पर हो रहे काम जल्द से जल्द पूरा हो सके। हमारी सरकार यह आश्वासन देती है कि आने वाले दिनों में भी हमारे भारत के नागरिकों को ऐसी दुर्घटनाओं मिलना ना पड़े।
Next question number 105, Srimati Rahat Raunak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Will the Minister of Environment and Forest be pleased to state whether it is a fact that global warming on agriculture in India affected on a very large scale? If so, what are the probable impacts of climate change on Indian agriculture?
Minister of Environment and Forest, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. Indeed, a very crucial insight, Honorable Member. The temperature increase by the end of this century is likely to be in the range of 2 to 4.5 degrees Celsius and is unlikely to be lesser than 1.5 degrees Celsius. Values substantially higher than 4.5 degrees Celsius cannot be excluded. For the next 2 decades, a warming of 0.2 degrees Celsius per decade is projected. Even if all the future emissions were stopped now, a further warming of 0.1 degree Celsius per decade could be expected. It is very likely that hot extremes, heat waves, and heavy precipitation events will continue to become more frequent. In this scenario of climate change, based on NATCOM report MOAR, the surface air temperature for the period 1901 to 2000 has indicated a significant warming has been for 100 years. The spatial distribution of temperature change has indicated a significant warming trend has been observed along the west coast, central India, interior peninsula and parts of northern India. However, a cooling trend has been observed along the northwest and parts of southern India. Instrumental records for the past 130 years do not show any significant long-term trend in the frequencies of large-scale drought or flood in the summer monsoon season. As for your second question about the probable impacts of climate change on agriculture, there is preliminary evidence to indicate that rice yield in the Indo-Gangetic plains may have decreased in the recent years due to increased heat. Retails and hence production has shown losses of 4 to 6 million tons in the recent years due to increased heat in summer, February to March. Small changes in temperature, CO2 and rainfall may have significant effects on the quality of fruits, vegetables, tea, coffee, aromatic and medicinal plants. Increasing glacier melt would affect irrigation resources, especially in the Indo-Gangetic plains. Global warming in short term is likely to favor agricultural production in the temperate zone, largely Europe and North America, and negatively impact the tropical crop production, affecting trade.
Any supplementaries? Yes, Ms. Shreya.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Thank you, Minister, for the detailed response. Can the Minister also provide information on any specific government initiatives or some of the key programs include on number 1, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. This mission promotes sustainable agriculture practices, soil health management, and water use efficiency to enhance resilience against the climate change. Secondly, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. This scheme, I repeat, PMKSY, aims to improve irrigation infrastructure and ensure water availability for agriculture, thus helping farmers manage water use more effectively. और नंबर 3, सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड स्कीम। यह योजना किसानों को एक सॉइल हेल्थ कार्ड उपलब्ध कराता है, जिसमें उनकी मिट्टी के पोषक तत्वों के बारे में जानकारी होती है, जो उन्हें खाद एवं मृदा प्रबंधन के बारे में उचित निर्णय लेने में सक्षम बनाती है। साथ ही क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस स्कीम, सरकार ने अत्यधिक मौसमी घटनाओं के कारण फसल में विफलता की स्थिति में किसानों को वित्तीय सहायता प्रदान करने के लिए प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना जैसी कई फसल बीमा योजनाएं शुरू की है। And lastly,
Members maintain silence.
and the government. The government is investing in research and development to develop climate-resilient crop varieties and innovative farming ideas that can withstand the changing climatic conditions.
Okay, so no more supplementaries now.
Honorable Speaker Madam, it has come to my attention that there has been great breach of privilege informing unauthorized of the communication of members.
Members, please maintain silence.
This breach undermines the integrity of our parliamentary procedures and threatens the rights and privileges of all the members of this youth parliament.
Mr. Amarjeet Paswan, have you given notice of it earlier? You may give due notice along with a copy of newspaper cutting, and I shall consider it. You can't bring a surprise on me like this.
I have already given the notice of it, and today 10 a.m. Madam Speaker.
It will be examined when it comes to me, and I shall consider it. Let you know of my decision. Now,
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Now papers to be laid. Honorable the Minister of State in the Ministry of Ayush, Mr. Kanchan Singh.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I read today on the table a copy of annual reports, Hindi and English version of the National Institute of Siddha Chennai for the year 2023-2024. A copy of the review, Hindi and English version by the government of the working of the National Institute of Siddha Chennai for the year 2023-2024. Second, statement, Hindi and English version showing reason for delay in paying the paper mentioned at first above. Third, a copy of the annual reports, Hindi and English version of the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine, New Delhi for the year 2023-2024 along with the origin accounts. A copy of the review, Hindi and English version by the government of the working of the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine for the year 2023-2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minister of Steel and Mining, please.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I beg to lay on the table a copy of each of the following notification, Hindi and English version under the subsection 1, section 28 of the Mines and Mineral Regulation and Development Act 1957. First, the Mineral Concession Third Amendment Rule 187, published in notification number GSR 1002 in Gazette of India, dated the 21st December 1987. Second, SQ 145E, published in Gazette of India, dated the 4th of February 1988, authorizing the Geological Survey of India to carry out such detailed investigation for the purpose of obtaining such information as may be necessary in the areas specified in the table annexed to the notification. Thank you.
Next item in the list of business is message from Upper Chamber. Secretary General to report message from Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament.
Madam, I have to report the following message received from the upper chamber of Youth Parliament. In accordance with the provisions of the rules of procedure and conduct of business in the upper house of Youth Parliament, I am directed to enclose a copy of the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Amendment Bill 2024, which has been passed by upper chamber at its sitting held on 5th February 2024.
Secretary to lay on the table a copy of bill as passed by the upper chamber.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Amendment Bill 2024 as passed by upper chamber.
Honorable members, at this stage of proceeding, I have to make an important announcement. On behalf of the honorable members of the House, it's my great pleasure to extend a warm welcome to Her Excellency Ms. Sophie Lawrence, Speaker of the French Parliament, and the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Jean-Pierre Dubois of the French Parliament. Delegation who are visiting India as our esteemed guests. This is the distinguished delegation arrived on Monday, 8 June 2024 for a 4-day visit upon the invention of the Parliament of India. They are currently seated in the special gathering. We wish them a pleasant and productive stay in our country. To them, we also extend warm greetings and best wishes to the friendly people of France. Now, the House will take up the next item, which is calling attention motion. Ms. Gauri Rajak.
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय। सदन की ओर से मैं गृह मंत्री जी का था प्लीज में बढ़ते बेरोजगारी की तरफ आकर्षित करते हुए मैं चाहूंगी कि मंत्री महोदय इस पर अपना वक्तव्य दें।
Home Minister, please.
Thank you, Speaker Madam. Over the past few years, the rate of unemployment has increased due to various global and domestic factors. Our government is aware and taking necessary steps to create employment. We have launched several initiatives like Make in India, Skill India, and various other schemes to promote employment. Additionally, we are working on improving the ease of doing business to attract investment that will lead to job creation.
अध्यक्ष महोदय, गृह मंत्री जी का वक्तव्य कि बेरोजगारी की समस्या के समाधान के लिए सरकार प्रयासरत। इनकी अनभिज्ञता का नतीजा है या तो ये तथ्यों को छिपा रहे हैं या फिर स्थिति को नजरअंदाज कर रहे हैं। बेरोजगारी की दर लगातार बढ़ती जा रही है। लाखों युवा नौकरियों के लिए भटक रहे हैं। ऐसे में मंत्री महोदय का कहना है कि सरकार प्रयास कर रही है। क्या ये लोगों के साथ मजाक नहीं है?
अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं मंत्री महोदय द्वारा दिए गए इस वक्तव्य से संतुष्ट नहीं हूँ। बेरोजगारी की समस्या को देखते हुए सरकार के प्रयास नाकाफी है। मैं भी ये जानना चाहूंगी क्या मंत्री महोदय को इस बात का ध्यान है कि नहीं? सरकार की नीतियों द्वारा युवाओं को योजनाओं दिला रही है नहीं? इस समय मुझे कुछ पंक्तियां याद आ रही हैं। एक आदमी काम करता है, एक आदमी काम करता है, एक आदमी काम ढूंढता है, मगर एक तीसरा आदमी भी है, जो न काम करता है और न काम ढूंढता है। मैं पूछती हूँ वो तीसरा आदमी कौन है? मगर मेरे देश की संसद कौन है?
मंत्री महोदय, आपने अपने योजनाओं की घोषणा अपने प्रचार के लिए की। वास्तविकता तो यह है जब आप अपनी योजनाओं का प्रचार करते हैं तब युवा अपने भविष्य के प्रति आकर्षित हो जाते हैं, लेकिन और इसे निराशा ही हाथ लगती है। सरकार की नीतियों और योजनाओं में क्रियान्वयन में भ्रष्टाचार और लापरवाही ही है। सरकारी कर्मचारियों तो स्वयं भ्रष्ट है। योजनाओं का लाभ युवाओं तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहा है। मैं उस पर ये कहना चाहूंगी, संघर्ष के इस रण
constitution, but for us, it is a serious issue. Our government is vigilant about the unemployment crisis throughout. We have exponentially increased efforts to create job opportunities through various schemes and initiatives. All necessary support for training and skill development is being provided on a priority basis. Measures for improving the job market and supporting startups have already been taken. Our efforts to tackle with the unemployment issues are being condemned by the honorable members of the opposition at such an extent of being called inedible. Thank you.
This response is unacceptable. We need a better answer.
मैम प्लीज आप बैठ जाएं, अभी आपको बोलने की इजाजत नहीं है।
जी अध्यक्ष महोदय।
Now next item in the agenda is bill introduction. Honorable Minister of Labour to introduce the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam, I beg to move for leave to introduce a bill further to amend the Employees Provident Fund and the Miscellaneous Provision Act 1952 and the Indian Penal Code.
The question is that leave is granted to introduce a bill further to amend its Employees Provident Fund and the Miscellaneous Provision Act 1952 and the Indian Penal Code. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Leave is granted. Minister, introduce the bill.
Madam, I introduce the bill.
Now, the House will take up consideration of Bill 2024, One Nation, One Election, One Vote.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Madam. Our nation's electoral process is the backbone of our democracy. Elections are a fundamental aspect of our political system, providing citizens with the power to choose their representatives and influence the direction of their government. However, the current system, with its frequent elections, poses significant challenges and inefficiencies. Therefore, I rise today to introduce the One Nation, One Election, One Vote bill. Allow me to outline the key clauses of this bill. Clause 1. The primary objective of this bill is to synchronize the electoral cycles of the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies to streamline the electoral process, thereby reducing costs and administrative burdens. Clause 2. Frequent elections lead to high financial expenditure and divert government's focus from governance to campaigning. A unified electoral process will address these issues, promoting better resource utilization. Clause 3. The key benefits of this bill are cost reduction. Conducting simultaneous elections saves significant financial savings, administrative efficiency, better resource utilization, reducing disruptions in government and public activities. Improved governance. Governments can focus on long-term policy making without constant electioneering. Clause 4. The implementation strategy. The transition will be phased to ensure minimal disruption with comprehensive logistical planning and adequate resource allocation.
Please maintain silence.
And clause 5. This bill respects the federal structure of our nation. It maintains regional representation and addresses state-specific issues, promoting better governance कि ये धाराएं हमारे चुनावी तंत्र को सुधारने के लिए एक प्रभावशाली और सुदृढ़ आधार प्रदान करती है। मैं सभी सदस्यों से आग्रह करती हूँ कि वे इस विधेयक का समर्थन करें जो हमारे देश की प्रगति और सशक्तिकरण की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। धन्यवाद।
Motion move, one nation, one election, one vote bill be taken into consideration. Ms. Preeti.
धन्यवाद माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय। मैं इस विधेयक का समर्थन करती हूँ। बार बार चुनाव कराने की हमारी वर्तमान प्रणाली विकास और शासन में बाधा डालती है। चुनाव चक्रों को संरेखित करके हम बहुमूल्य संसाधन और समय बचा सकते हैं। चुनाव आयोग के अनुसार 5 वर्षों में चुनाव पर संचयी खर्च हजारों करोड़ रुपए है, जिसका उपयोग विकासात्मक योजनाओं के लिए बेहतर ढंग से किया जा सकता है। यह विधेयक अधिक सुसंगत और स्थिर नीतियों को सुरक्षित करेगा, क्योंकि सभी स्तरों पर सरकार की शर्तें समकालिक होगी।
Ms. Deepika.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. Additionally, this bill will enhance voter turnout. People will be more engaged in a single unified electoral process rather than being pegged by multiple elections. Studies have shown that countries with synchronized elections have higher voter participation. It will also reduce the influence of money and muscle power, as the focus will be on long-term governance rather than the short-term electoral gains. Furthermore, the implementation of this bill will free up security forces and administrative personnel, allowing them to focus on other pressing issues.
Madam Speaker, while the item one nation, one election, one vote may seem appealing, it poses several risks to our federal structure and democracy. The centralization of electoral cycles may undermine the autonomy of state governments. Each state has unique political, social and economic conditions which may not align with unified electoral schedules. For instance, states recovering from natural disasters and economic downturns may need to hold elections at different times to address their specific needs. Ms. Priya.
Madam Speaker, as a representative from West Bengal, I must highlight the diversity and complexity of our nation. Synchronizing elections will lead to the marginalization of regional issues and voices. West Bengal, for example, has unique cultural and political dynamics that could be overshadowed in a national electoral landscape. Furthermore, the logistics of conducting simultaneous elections on such a large scale are daunting and could lead to administrative chaos. In the past, even smaller scale elections have faced many challenges in terms of infrastructure and manpower.
Ms. Anushka.
धन्यवाद माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय। सीनियर कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के द्वारा अत्यधिक नियंत्रण हासिल करना जोखिम है, जिससे स्वस्थ लोकतंत्र के लिए आवश्यक नियंत्रण और संतुलन कमजोर हो जाएगा। इतिहास से पता चला है कि राजनीतिक विविधताओं की कमी से अधिनायकवाद हो सकता है। इसके अतिरिक्त चुनावी चक्र में कई भी बदलाव आ सकते हैं। वर्तमान में कार्यालय में निर्वाचित निकायों के कामकाज को बाधित करना संभावित रूप से संवैधानिक और कानूनी चुनौतियों का कारण बन सकता है। हमें इन महत्वपूर्ण बदलाव के साथ आगे बढ़ने से पहले इन निहितार्थों पर
Mr. Ashish.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker Madam. To address the concern of the opposition, I would like to point out that many developed nations such as United States and Germany have synchronized election cycles without undermining their federal structure. The proposed bill includes provision to ensure regional representation and addresses logistical challenges. And moreover, this initiative will bring about more disciplined political environment, reducing the constant electorate, and allowing the government to focus on long-term policy planning and execution. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Ninal.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. On comparing our country India to the countries like Germany and United States, not only overlooks a vast difference in our demographic, geography and political system, the federal structure of India is also unique and demands a tailored approach. The Election Commission of India has itself raised concern about the feasibility of this proposal and citing the need for significant changes in India. Moreover, the socio-political diversity in India is unparalleled and a one-size-fits-all approach may not be appropriate. I repeat, one-size-fits-all approach may not be appropriate. Thank you.
Prime Minister, please.
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष महोदय। मैं विपक्ष द्वारा उठाई गई चिंताओं की सराहना करती हूँ। आपके द्वारा उठाए गए मुद्दों को ध्यान में रखते हुए मैं आपको आश्वस्त करना चाहती हूँ कि इस विधेयक में क्षेत्रीय प्रतिनिधित्व और साझा समाज संबंधी चुनौतियों का समाधान है। ये विधेयक एक अधिक कुशल और मजबूत लोकतंत्र की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है। बजट और प्रशासनिक दक्षता इस कदम की वैधता को प्रमाणित करती है। सरकार इसे सुचारू और समावेशी बनाने के लिए पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध है। माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, आज प्रश्नकाल और ध्यानाकर्षण प्रस्ताव के दौरान मेरे विपक्षी मित्रों ने शायरी का भरपूर उपयोग किया है। मानो वे इस सभा को मुशायरे में बदल देना चाहते हैं। तो प्रधानमंत्री होने के नाते मुझे लगता है कि उन्हीं की भाषा में उन्हें उत्तर दूं कि संभव है सब कुछ, असंभव कुछ नहीं। संभव है सब कुछ, असंभव कुछ नहीं। पर हौसले बुलंद, दूर कुछ भी नहीं, दूर कुछ भी नहीं। अगर हौसले बुलंद हो और नीयत साफ हो तो कोई भी चुनौती हमारे रास्ते में बाधा नहीं बन सकती। इसलिए मैं पुनः अपने सभी सदस्यों से आग्रह करती हूँ कि वे इस विधेयक का समर्थन करें, क्योंकि इस विधेयक में और शायरी करने की नहीं, अब काम करने की जरूरत है।
The question is that Bill 2024, One Nation, One Election, One Vote be taken into consideration. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Those who are against will please say no.
Sir.
I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. So the motion is adopted. Now the House is adjourned to meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m.